to STEM Fest 2014. My name is John Belcher, and I have the distinct pleasure of serving the youth of Mount Si High School as our high school principal, and we are really excited to see you here. How many incoming class of 2018 freshmen, students, and families are here tonight? Raise your crowd. New Wildcats. Nice. Okay. Going to be one of our biggest classes coming. Mount Si continues to grow, and if you did not know, we're going from 3A to a 4A high school next year. So, largely based on you, awesome talent moving on up from 8th grade. So real quick, in your brochure, kind of gives you an overview. First hour of tonight is to give you some information of kind of the why, the what, and what's in store for your student. Mount Si High School and Snoqualmie Valley School District, we're under deep reform to prepare our students for the current reality, not what used to be the reality of careers and opportunities for students. So we're looking ahead, we're being very progressive in our approach of what we're asking of our students. And my job in the first 10 minutes is to kind of give you an oversight of what we're looking for. And when we're done here tonight, you'll walk on out and you can go interact with some of the courses and opportunities ahead of you for students of incoming 9th graders and also of the families of upperclassmen here tonight that want to know what's in store for their students and what's growing as far as opportunities for our students of Mount Si. Real quick, if you weren't aware, Washington State ranks #1 in the concentration of STEM jobs in the country. We also rank #4 in technology-based companies, yet we're producing almost dead last in number of students prepared and entering college programs, graduate programs in the STEM related fields. And you'll see that as we talk, they're estimating almost a 25% growth in those jobs by 2018, and we have a massive gap in jobs right now. And if you look at our area, Snoqualmie Valley, and notice the number of people moving in, they're moving in from other states to come fill these jobs. So we feel the urgency to prepare our students, and one of the reasons we feel that urgency is students avoid these sorts of opportunities because they're often hard. Okay? And we're going to intervene with that because when kids see what we're talking about, they're going to see that the hard courses are the rewarding courses and they're fun. And that's the shift we're trying to make in our student bodies. If you gave your adolescent at home the opportunity to be lazy or to really get after something difficult, it's a challenge. And we're trying to move our students from what we call a fixed mindset. It's a great book out called Mindset. A fixed mindset is somebody that struggles at something briefly and then gives up. We're trying to instill in our students perseverance and the ability to keep working at a task, because as we know, for those of you out there that are employers or managers, we want employees that will work through a rigorous task and get to the solutions, because let's face it, the problems of the 21st century are challenging in comparisons to the past. So real quick, this is the what and the why of what we're trying to accomplish as a school district, and largely what we're instituting at Mount Si High School. The what of STEM is, it's an acronym: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. People think that's content. They think that's a course. What we're trying to shift people's thinking to is it's about how we apply your knowledge, and it's about how we cross multiple disciplines into a course, and it's about how we teach. We're trying to move away from stand and deliver to students collaborating and working on a challenging task till they get to the point of a solution, because that's what we know the future is for our students. We need to get them ready for that. So it's related to 21st century, it's cross-disciplinary, so some of the courses I'm going to introduce to you tonight take many of the core academic disciplines and merge them into one topic area and cover all of those while they teach particular content. The why is I showed you the economic pressures ahead. In our region, it's a no-brainer to at least get a taste of those programs and then decide you don't like them. But it is an absolute moral and ethical dilemma to not get kids into those programs to ever even get a taste of that and to chase down that experience. We believe once they've tasted it, we're going to see larger numbers of students go after these sorts of programs. And in 1 year of the freshman campus, we're already seeing that. Okay? And you can see real quick some of the other issues is the challenges ahead: food supply, global warming. These things are massively challenging disciplines that cross all the content areas, and it takes a different sort of approach to those sorts of problems to solve those. We also see a big equity divide in our minority students and our female students, and we want to close that gap. And lastly, we think that having these experiences is going to make our students much more prepared for the future. So real quick, I am going to play a brief video for you of showing the day in the life of our students. And I'm showing you my non-technical skills right now.
STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are the skills students will need to build the future in our community, our region, and our world. Washington is currently home to more STEM-related jobs than any other state, but ranks 49th in the number of qualified candidates to fill those roles.
Currently, it's estimated there are about 23,000 unfilled STEM-related jobs in the state of Washington, and that number is projected to increase to, or nearly double over the next 4 years. This provides an extraordinary opportunity for students these days to pursue high-paying, high-quality careers.
We see STEM as a real game changer here in the state of Washington, and consequently, we've been paying attention to those emerging developments. In the next decade, nearly all of the fastest-growing jobs will require STEM-like skills. So consequently, our programming and curriculum will match that as we continue to work to help our students be college and career ready.
So my hope is to one day be a technology entrepreneur, and obviously going into that field, it really is the intersection of a lot of different STEM courses and STEM material. So for me, I see it as very important to get that core STEM basis as a high schooler, so that as I move into college, I can take more rigorous STEM courses, and eventually that will prepare me for my career.
I think it's our role in the educational environment to bridge that gap where innovative thinking allows our students to eventually participate in the sustainability of business.
Along with community partnerships, more than 800 hours of technology-rich staff development sessions have prepared district teachers for the demands of the new STEM-related classes.
So STEM education is often misunderstood. It's an acronym for science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and largely it's interpreted as kind of educational policy or kind of curriculum rather than the kind of style of learning. So what I wanted to share as the principal of Mount Si High School is kind of my philosophy and Snoqualmie Valley School District's philosophy around STEM education. We see it more about the style of instruction going on in the classroom rather than the content.
What we need now is to plant that seed so they become developers and innovators in technology, not just consumers.
Having access to mobile devices in classrooms is just one aspect of what we're providing kids, but the other is access to cloud-based applications for collaboration. I think that's been critically important to teachers adopting platforms and giving them tools to really make the experiences with technology more vivid for students in classrooms.
Contributions from our community, the school's foundation, PTSA groups, and our business partners has been key to our ability to expand and drive technology out into our schools, which ultimately will help us to further refine STEM-like experiences for our students.
So as you guys watch the credits and I shift, can people move to the middle? We got a lot of people standing by the door. We got lots of chairs here, folks. If you want to move on in, it's going to be a good 45-minute presentation, so that might really help you all out.
STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Students will need to build the future in our
So kind of here's our four-step approach to what we're going to try and do at Mount Si High School. Number one is we're concerned about equity, So we've made adjustments in what we require of students. Our freshman students are required to take a STEM program their freshman year and get exposed to it early. We believe this will solve some of the issues with minority students, our female students, and massive exposure of all students to get a taste of what we're talking about. The second is we believe in exposure. This year, we participated in our first hour of code. If you weren't familiar with that, we had 45 high school students trained to do a 1-hour presentation on how to do computer programming, and they went out district-wide, worked with middle schools and elementary students, and exposed another 2,000 students to STEM early. We're going to get to them earlier, and that's a big part of it. The next is we believe that student leadership and student voice is going to really get Mount Si High School recognized as a leader and get more and more partners. You can see up here on the stage some of the partners that are already joining us. That's a big plan for us, is how do we keep increasing our partnerships and getting kids the best exposure to the best experience they can have at high school. And we had Microsoft bring out an executive leadership team. They came and worked with students to get a feel for kind of what the future is and how adolescents are interacting with technology. And we learned lots and lots of profound things from students that I think really sent some executives off scratching their heads of how we're going to chase down the next thing. My quote, and many of you have heard this before, is when the executives that worked on Outlook were talking with students, finally a kid interrupted and said, you know what, bottom line is the only time we use email is when we want to talk to old people. I think they're going back thinking about Outlook a little bit after that. And then reform. We have to re-image our high school programs to fit the needs of what the current realities are for our students. And we're well underway, so I'm going to give you a taste of that. Tonight is really talking about STEM. We're going to cover some of the opportunities, some information for freshman families, but this is not registration night. That comes in 2 weeks, right there, 6 p.m. at the freshman campus. If you're a current 8th grader, that's the program you're going to go to. You're going to be there for a couple hours because a portion of it will be how to register, and a portion of it will be get exposed to the freshman campus and where things are and how that works. If you're an upperclassman, 7:30 here is where we'll give you details on how to register. A bit about the programs we offer at Mount Si. Many people think this is brand new for us. We have many programs that are STEM related already in place, and many that we're gentrifying and improving. So just to give you a feel, I will post this on the website tomorrow since you can't read all of that, but it will give you an idea that if you are an upperclassman or a 9th grader leaving freshman campus and wanting to know what your exposure is going to be next year, there is a wealth of advanced programs after the exposure of freshman year. So take some time when you get to registration, even for you 8th grade families, to start to work out your 4-year plan of where your student's going to try and get to. And again, freshman year should be about exposure, get a taste of it all before you kind of directly figure out your plan post-high school. The freshman campus, here's kind of how this works, just in case majority of you families are from freshmen. You have to take one of the STEM options. It looks very confusing, but there's basically 5 options, 6 options you can take. The first one is you take something called Introduction to Engineering Design. It's a company called Project Lead the Way, and it's a half-a-year course. And you can connect the second half of your year with Fit for Life, which is a STEM-related PE program, or computer science. That's one option. The second one is you can take the full year-long Introduction to Engineering Design. You take the first half year and then the second half year. That would get you the full boat, and you'd be ready to walk into high school as a 10th grader and take something called Principles of Engineering the following year. Or you can take something called AP Human Geography. We felt that if a student, very few high schools have an AP for 9th graders, we felt that if our advanced students that were really hungry to get after rigor early wanted to take that, we would allow that to count for the STEM option. However, many of those students still took the other opportunities, and you'll still be able to do both if you choose. And the last one's called the Big History Project. This is basically a social studies program that connects the sciences and geography and a variety of other topics into one course. We felt that that would be a good relation to what we're trying to accomplish with STEM. Students can take that as well. So if I go back real quick, for you 9th graders going into 10th graders, we are going to add Principles of Engineering next year. So those of you that had the first taste as a freshman can now take it as a 10th grader. Those of you coming in as a next year's 9th grader will have opportunities to see all these Project Lead the Ways continue to grow and expand as far as the offerings as you go. Okay? So one of the things we want to talk a little bit, because our keynote speaker tonight is going to talk to you a little bit about the field that she's in. We wanted to talk about some of the examples that we wanted to have our community understand, which is these are AP test scores across the country. How many actual students took exams by year? U.S. history has the highest, calculus has the next highest, biology, environmental science, and the lowest is computer science. We believe that if this is one of the top demand jobs, we'd certainly like to see our program that we've only had in place now for a year can actually increase, second year, can actually start to expand to multiple sections. So one of our goals, just to give you a taste as an audience, is we'd like to see that our AP program, of which 20 students, which is 3% of the entire state, took this exam. Our goal for next year is to compete with some of our neighbors and try and get this up to 3 sections of computer science, to give you an idea that if other high schools of our similar size already have 3 programs, obviously our students that are scoring at such a high passage rate, we have lots of capacity to add more and more students. In other words, if the 20 that are taking it are all passing, we're missing the boat on how deep of other students could take this rigor and opportunity on earlier. And we want to keep expanding that bubble. So when your student tells you, I don't want to do that, that sounds really hard, talk about that fixed mindset and the growth mindset. That the industry and the students and the citizens of the future we need are not fixed, try it once and quit. We need people that will work at a problem and keep working at it and get to that growth mindset. So that's the goal for that. Real quick, couple of thank yous. Workforce development, and we have some folks here tonight that have a table out front, but they gave us the grant to allow us to do numerous things at the freshman campus. One of which is our new advisory program, which is where we're teaching students how to plan for their post-high school experience. We also ran a transition program in the summer for incoming 9th graders, and we're going to do that again this summer. So a big shout out to them for their contributions to us to help a variety of STEM-related topics get in place. They also contributed to us pulling off this evening and getting our keynote speaker here and funding some of the opportunities we have here for you tonight. Also, Snoqualmie Tribe, they helped us train our staff, and you have to keep in mind that many of these courses we're talking about, we had to regentrify individual staff members that were teaching potentially programs that were no longer under demand to move them into new fields of interest by students. And that takes a lot of training and effort by staff to get ready for that. And the tribe helped us pay for that in some of our STEM programming. Also, Microsoft helped us introduce something called the TEALS program. That's where Microsoft sends us employees in the morning and they teach our courses with the combination of a certified Snoqualmie Valley school teacher. The benefit for us is we can't compete with the salary of those folks, but they're willing to recognize that they need to get incoming students ready to go to Microsoft, and they have to help us get people trained up to do that. So they're helping us. Snoqualmie Valley School Foundation helped fund that TEALS program to make that happen for us. And then Hour of the Code, there was lots of students here you see volunteering tonight. Ask them if they're a part of the Hour of the Code. Some of them are going to speak to you tonight, but they're obviously a big group that we want to thank. And thank you for letting us pass the tech levy. You're going to see a variety of ways it's already in place, but obviously another 4 years is going to really help us move forward with some of the planning we had, and that's going to be a big benefit for students. Last but not least, lots of staff here and students here volunteering their time. I'm really appreciative of them, and make sure you thank them when you see them. So I am going to introduce the next person up, which is Lori Hollish, who's one of my PTSA, or one of our PTSA presidents. And they've been a huge factor in helping us get STEMFest going, so please let me help me welcome Lori.